Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time is going to be on Anora. This film is directed by Sean Baker and stars Mikey Madison as Annie. And this is a Cinderella story set in modern time about a young stripper from Brooklyn whose life takes an unexpected turn when she meets and impulsively marries Vanya, the son of a Russian billionaire. However, when Vanya's parents catch wind of their union, they send their henchmen to try to break the marriage, setting off a wild chase throughout the streets of New York. So this is kind of like a forbidden love story, pretty much, only it takes a much more different turn. Now, I've heard about this movie getting a massive amount of praise from critics and audiences, believe it or not. And I had a feeling that this movie was probably going to get, talked about for Oscar buzz because, it's getting close to the end of the year where we're probably going to get more movies like that. And this film is definitely no exception. I can see why. I didn't really know a whole lot about this movie going in, though I did read that, it was about a young couple getting married. But when I watched the entire thing, it had elements that I was not expecting whatsoever, as the movie is not just your basic romance story. I mean, yeah, things seem normal, or I wouldn't necessarily say normal because throughout a major part of the first act, it's sex every 5 to 2 minutes. So the movie definitely earns its R rating, but honestly has parts that could have probably given it NC-17, though a little bit close. I feel like if they went a little too far, then yeah, it definitely probably would have. But yeah, Anora is definitely not your basic love story, as the fact that they get married just instantly like that. I feel like this movie right here is certainly a representation on exactly how you shouldn't marry someone that you just met, especially at a strip club, because not only will things be kind of weird for you, but it might just make your life a living hell. I mean, sure, this couple's relationship, they seem like they're in love at first, but as soon as these henchmen come in, it completely changes everything and just has you think completely differently about if these two are meant for each other or not. Because it definitely had me thinking throughout a massive part of the movie, because later on, Yvonne isn't seen throughout a good portion of the movie, and it just has you thinking, are these two meant to be? Because, it's really hard to tell now, but I can definitely say this. Their acting together is phenomenal. Mikey Madison, in particular, is terrific in this movie. She is very powerful, and she gives a very, very believable performance, and despite the fact that these two seem to have a great connection at first, I honestly really bought it at first, despite the fact that, they met at a strip club and they're already, just getting together and, just not knowing the fact that, this woman's a stripper and you just want to get with her like that. So it might not always seem logical, but then again, it just shows that you should never rush your relationships. I mean, sure, you're at a strip club and pretty much anyone can do anything, but I think the way it's played out here is done in a very, I don't even know how to put it, because, yeah, this movie definitely goes in many different directions when it comes to these two being together, but I was just so intrigued by what it had to offer, because the movie completely changes when it gets to the hour mark, and the movie is over 2 hours long, so for some people that might just be boring, but there are times where, I just feel like this movie might turn into an action film, just due to the fact that there are times where Anora or Annie can be a little bit violent when these henchmen come in. But it's not R-rated for violence, so don't expect anything like that going in. But I feel like what director Sean Baker does here is basically just showing that, sometimes if you don't know a person too well, and the fact that their parents don't even know about you, it just might lead to consequences that, they might not approve of. And the way that, the director just plays it all out here, I feel like is done in a very strong way. And yeah, just like I mentioned before, it just shows that, you should never marry someone that you just met, especially if it's from a strip club, because you never know where the direction will handle. You might end up hating each other, or you might cheat on one another, because you just never know. You just really have to take your time with these types of relationships, because yeah, these two, they just, he was just asking for sex every single minute, and they immediately just, say, hey, let's get married. So Yeah, but it's really hard for me to not want to dive into spoiler territory. If I do, then, this video might get age restricted because a lot of crude things happen in the movie, but I'm not going to go any further. I want you to experience the film for yourself, but you're not into seeing, like, sex every 5 minutes. But yeah, you're probably just going to want to stay home for that one. I mean, hey, Poor Things, which also got a lot of Oscar buzz and won Oscars itself, definitely had a massive amount of sexual themes in it and massive moments, probably more than this movie has, but that film is far more different as that film isn't as realistic as something like this. But all I can really say about this film is that it's a very well acted, very nice looking film. It is a gorgeous looking movie. I was honestly connected with the romance at first, but I love how the movie just makes me think of it entirely differently during the second act of the film. I think Sean Baker did an excellent job with this film, and I definitely do see it getting some Oscar nominations for next year's Academy Awards. If it does, then I think it truly deserves it. I think it's one of the best films to come out this year, and it's certainly going to stick with me for a while, because after watching it, I felt like I watched a truly mesmerizing film that will definitely stick with me. Because the ending, too, yeah, just... I'm not going to spoil the ending, but yeah. But anyways, I am serious when I say that this is truly a remarkable achievement, and Sean Baker should definitely be proud of this one because it truly is one of the most unique films to come out this year. And I love how it just takes the romance genre to a completely different direction. And sure, other films that I probably haven't seen before might have done it before, but I feel like the way he does it here is absolutely amazing, and I loved pretty much every single second of it. It's good not knowing a whole lot about this film, though I'm pretty sure I did watch a trailer for this one, I just didn't know a whole lot about it going in. But after watching it, yeah, I'm glad I didn't look into it as much this time, because it completely exceeded my expectations, and I highly recommend checking it out. It's playing in more theaters, and I definitely recommend giving it a watch. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't miss out on this one. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.